Hello, my name's Kieran Dale, and in this Show Me Do I'm going to show you how you can add simple event handling to your wxPython application sample editor, which will allow you to respond to user-generated events. Now, in the last Show Me Do in this series, we got as far as creating our small editor, and we had a status bar at the bottom here which relayed information like that's doing now about the program, and we had a file menu on our menu bar, which is along here. We only had one option, which was separated by a line here. About and exit were our options. Now, if I click about here, you can see that nothing happens. But the Python editor, this wxPython editor, is sending a signal, an event signal, to the program that we've written. It's just that we have no mechanism in place to do anything with that event signal. And what we want to do is to have a function which can receive that event and any information it contains and do something with it. And to do this is a very simple operation. In fact, event handling is one of wxPython's strengths, and it makes it very simple indeed. So what we want to do is to click, when we click on this about, we want to have a function in place to do something with that. And if you see here, I've added two functions, which are class functions, on about and on exit. They receive the mandatory self, which is the object reference, and also they have to receive an event parameter. This will be sent to them by the program. You don't have to do anything with the information contained in this event parameter. In fact, as you can see, neither of these makes use of any information coming from event. But if you had, say, sliders or scrollers or something like that, that event object could contain information about the position of the slider or the value of a text box or anything like that. Right, so I'll describe this in more detail later, but at the moment I'll just cover it very simply. When you click on about, when on about is called, so when the event triggers its call, it creates a dialog box, a message dialog, which has the message, a sample editor in wxPython, in this title, and wxOK there means that it will be accessible or closable by an OK button. And here's show modal and destroy. This just shows it, destroys it. It's standard format. And with on exit, we will then call close on this window, send it the value true. So that's what they do. So now we have our sample editor, which is sending events. At the moment, we're doing nothing with them to this program. We want these events to be sent on or bound to these functions on about and on exit. And to do that's very simple. We already have our identification numbers, ID about, ID exit, for these two options, and these are sent with the events. So to connect them, to connect those options, menu bar options, to their respective methods, what we use is a macro called event menus. This says we're dealing with the menu event. We of course prepend it with wx dot because it's a member of the wx library. We give that the first parameter self, which of course is a reference to the main window object that we're within which we're binding. We give it the ID, which is ID about, and we give it the method that we want to be called when that event comes in. So in this case it's on about. So when a method, when an event comes in which is tagged with this identity, ID about, then we send it on to the onAbout method, self onAbout, so local method. And we'll also add a something to deal with clicking the exit. So this sends us on to the onExit method, which we've got there. So if everything has worked, then what we've done is to bind the clicks on the file menu tagged with these IDAbout and IDExit identities. We've managed to bind them to these methods, and so these methods will be called, and they will be sent information about the status of the event. So if we run this module, we now have small editor, which looks very much the same. We haven't changed any visual aspect to it, but with any luck, when we click on About, we now get a message dialog, which has the message, a sample editor in wxPython, which we established here, and has an OK button, which the pressing of which ends the dialog session. And we normally it would by default have an OK and a cancel button, but if we use this option here as wx.ok, then it says just give it an OK button, which is what we want. The rest is just standard function calls. Show modal, which you call on the dialog object that you've created, which shows it, and destroy says that when it gets the right signal, which in this case clicking on OK, then it will be destroyed. So if I click on OK, there it disappears. Now on exit, which we'll call in a minute, should call self-close true, so it should send the true value to the close function for our window, and so it should close it as it did there. So we now have the ability to send a message dialog with any message we want, and also to close the program. And in future sessions I'll show you how you can make more interesting use of these event handlers. Okay, that's